Hey guys, Austin here, and I just got done reading this incredible book. It's called The Compound Effect, and it's by Darren Hardy, who is the publisher of Success Magazine. I'm not sure if you've read this one, but in my personal opinion, I do think it is definitely a must-read. The book is 172 pages, but there is like a lot of good information that's kind of jammed inside of it. It's very to the point. And I was very surprised that this book was as good as it was. So you might want to consider getting it if you haven't read it. But anyways, my goal for this video is to pass along to you four of my top key takeaways from this book. There were quite a few others that I was contemplating writing about, but I decided to keep this article and video here to just four key takeaways. So the key takeaways are slow and steady wins, the power of small choices, change one habit at a time, and then the momentum is the goal. So let's go ahead and start with the first one here, which is slow and steady wins. So consistency and positive habits form the cornerstones of our long-term success. This principle is shown in a classic story of the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise, even though he was really slow, he maintains a steady pace throughout the entire race and ultimately ends up beating the much faster hare. The hare ends up losing momentum, and the reason why is because he was doing short bursts of inconsistent effort. And so really this analogy teaches us that consistent effort can yield substantial results over time, even if things seem to be moving a bit slow. So basically Darren is telling us that the key to develop positive habits, the key is to develop positive habits that we can actually stick to. So not to just say, hey, I'm going to go out and do this. What actually matters is if we can, stick to the things that we're trying to adjust. And we'll kind of talk about that in item number 3 here. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but this is going to allow us and allow our efforts to compound, and that's going to help lead to significant achievements. So this process often goes unnoticed in the short term because, the changes are subtle, nothing really happens, but with patience and persistence, the small actions that we do, they end up creating a really powerful impact. So for example, if you decided to read just about 10 pages of a book every single day, that doesn't seem like much, right? Like you think, it's 10 pages, it's going to take, 10 minutes, whatever. But over a whole year, if you do that every day, you'll read about 14 to 18 books. And so, these types of things, when done, can end up getting a lot done over time. So the next key takeaway is that the power is about the power of small choices. So, and this is a quote from page 24 in the book. It says, every small choice you make adds up. Even tiny actions done regularly can lead to big changes. So sometimes small choices seem like they don't matter, but they really do add up. And every tiny action that we take, it contributes to the larger picture of everything that we have going on in our life. So no matter how, insignificant things may seem in the moment, these things really do add up over time. So this principle is often underestimated because, again, the immediate results are not visible. But again, over a long term, the impact is really, really big. So the next one is to change one habit at a time. Darren tells us that it's hard to change multiple habits at the same time. He suggests that we focus on just changing one thing. And if you remember the book that we read a while back, it's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. He says the same exact thing. And this was also mentioned in Essentialism by Greg McKeown. He basically was kind of saying the same stuff in that book as well. So changing one habit at a time is practical and effective as opposed to trying to change multiple things at the same time. If we try to overhaul and change multiple different habits that we have at the same time, it can be stressful, and often it's going to lead us to failure and not getting the job done, basically. So when we focus on a new habit, we can really just focus on getting it done. And this is going to increase our chances of success. It also is going to make it a lot more easy for optimizing and, tweaking it and tracking it, over time. So we can really like go all in on just adjusting that one habit, make the adjustments that we need to. And then kind of once we have that one under control, at that point, he kind of says, then we can move on and try to tackle some of the other ones as well. So yeah, so really cool. Another quote from the book, he says, trying to change too many things at once can be hard. Focus on one new habit at a time until it sticks, then move on to the next one. So now the last one, and I think that this is the most important one, but I wanted to put it here at the end, and that is that momentum is the goal. So after reading the book very thoroughly, I think that Darren's main thing that he wants us to take away is that momentum is what we're after. He really highlighted that a lot in the book. And one of the reasons why is because momentum is hard to stop once you get started. Like, if you try to do anything new or for the first time or try to get anything done, getting things started, it takes like a substantial amount of effort. But once you kind of have the ball moving and you've kind of got things going in the right direction, well, maintaining it and keeping it going is not even remotely as hard. There's, for example, a rocket, a spaceship, it goes out into space, right? Well, it uses most of its energy and its it's like fuel and all that kind of stuff to get off the ground and to get out of Earth. But like once it's up in space, it takes nothing to, keep that thing going. So there's like a little analogy for you on that. But yeah, I mean, I think kind of the overall thing that I'll leave you with here is that, start small if you can, like consider starting small, try to stay consistent. And even if what you're doing doesn't seem like if you're not making any progress or it just seems like what you're doing doesn't matter, like, just try to stay patient with it and hang in there and keep going with it. And over time, try to strategically get some momentum so that you can start getting, more results in whatever it is that you're trying to get done. So to kind of wrap up here, we're trying to remember that slow and steady wins. Small choices are powerful, right? The power of small choices. We talked about that. We also talked about changing one habit at a time. And then lastly, we talked about how momentum is the goal. So thanks guys for watching this video. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.